Is life an illusion? There are teachings that say life is an illusion, and others that say life is created by karma. For enlightened masters who have freed themselves from the control of the law of cause and effect, this world is an illusion and nothing is certain or real. They no longer have desire or anger because all phenomena are viewed as illusions. For most of us, worldly things seem solid and real. As long as we operate within cause and condition, we still have to abide by the law of karma. Due to our karmic power, phenomena appear to have real and continuous existence. But in truth, we are sleeping in a dream and have not yet awakened. Buddhist teachings say that the world is created by the mind, but we may wonder how our mind can create that huge mountain standing before us. No one says that the mind creates the mountain itself. Rather, the mind creates the concept of mountain. Whether or not there is a mountain, without the mind, ideas, words, or thoughts of mountain being real or not real would not appear. In the Karma Shataka Sutra, the Buddha taught, different karmas create different realms. In the Mahakaruna Pundarika Sutra, the Buddha said, karma gives rise to and makes manifest the world. Karma creates sentient beings. Karma gives birth to them. Karma can transform them. The Abhidharmakosa also states, karma produces all phenomena in the world. One may ask, if life is an illusion, why do we strive to improve our lives? Our lives are based on the reactions and reflections of our mental habits, which are themselves not truly real. But we must try to improve our illusory lives. Otherwise, we will continue to suffer because of these illusory things. Since we do not recognize them as illusions, we suffer as if they were real. The need to understand karmic retribution. When we truly understand karma, we will not deliberately create even the slightest bad karma. Even when negative thoughts have not yet arisen, we begin to purify our minds right now. In my monastery in Tibet, before my time, there was a very talented master named Khenpo Damcho, who, when he was young, had trouble remembering what he studied. One day, his teacher sat right in front of him and had him repeat a single sentence in a lesson 100 times, with the two of them taking turns reciting it. Afterward, his teacher asked him to recite it alone, but he still could not remember it. Seeing this, his teacher had him recite a short mantra of the Buddha of purification, Buddha Tin Hua, 1,000 times. Immediately upon completing this, his memory transformed completely, and from then on, his studies advanced strongly. He became one of the most brilliant scholars of his era. Why? Because reciting that mantra created wholesome karma that dissolved the negative karma hindering his mind. We, too, can reshape our karma through diligence. The key is to train the mind to avoid negative karma and create positive karma until it becomes perfected, freeing ourselves from the net of illusory karma. Once we taste the fruits of our efforts, our faith in karmic retribution and our practice will increase and be firmly established in our minds. Life is full of suffering. We all want happiness, but as long as we remain trapped in samsara with worldly pursuits, we cannot find happiness. Because this world is truly unsatisfactory and full of suffering, we must use our wisdom to fully comprehend this fact. Many people think Buddhism is pessimistic because it teaches that life is suffering. But the world-renowned scholar, the Venerable Dr. Walpola Rahula once wrote, Buddhism is neither pessimistic nor optimistic. It is only realistic. Buddhism looks at things objectively. When we genuinely see the futility of seeking happiness in an illusory world, we cease to crave it, and instead follow the path of ending suffering and attaining the bliss of nirvana. This is the wisdom of the Dharma and its fruition. We need to face worldly suffering for another reason. If we want to attain enlightenment, we must begin right here, not at some hypothetical place. That is why the Buddha's first discourse addressed the truth of suffering, Ho Dei, one of the 4 noble truths which are central to his teachings 7. And it is why we should also investigate life objectively. If our lives have largely been steeped in delusion and suffering, we need to acknowledge that this is our starting point on the path. Suffering, the first truth. Let us examine further the nature of suffering that we are enduring. We are all familiar with the suffering we see around use depression, sadness, lamentation, illness, etc. This universal suffering is called the suffering of suffering, koho, in Buddhism. Looking deeper, we recognize another form of suffering that pervades all our joys and satisfactions. We worry that every good thing must end or change according to natural law. Our children and grandchildren grow up and move away. Our loved ones eventually die. We become old and weak. Good things don't just end, they can also become sources of suffering. A business venture can lead to misery if it goes bankrupt. Smoking leads to lung cancer. This kind of suffering is called the suffering of change, huarho. On an even deeper level is the suffering of pervasive conditioning, hanho, present everywhere. It exists inherently in the 5 aggregates form: feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness that constitute our body and mind. None of these truly bring satisfaction. The Buddha said, "All compounded things are subject to change and decay. Compounded things are phenomena arising from causes and conditions. They are created by the causes of suffering, negative karma, dualistic concepts, and afflictive emotions along with the conditions that produce suffering. Therefore, simply being born is suffering." We can say that pervasive suffering so thoroughly fills this world that we become numb to it. In part, we fail to notice it because we have never known another realm of existence to compare it to our worldly life. So let us consider our current state of existence from the viewpoint of celestial beings. In my book, Enlightened Journey, I presented a simple analogy. Imagine we possess a light body, akin to a rainbow, like the body of beings in the celestial realms. This immaterial body of light allows us to travel effortlessly through the air. There is no darkness around us, and we do not need sunlight or moonlight because our own luminous body illuminates the area around us. We feel no pain because our body is not physical and cannot be harmed. We live like this for many years. Then, one day, this light body suddenly changes into flesh and bones, skin and blood, and various impurities. We can only move around step by step using our 2 legs. We cannot see without an external light source. Our body is susceptible to injury by other objects, and if it breaks, is cut into pieces, or severed, it cannot be restored or made to walk again unless we constantly watch out, avoid, or dodge the objects around us all the time. This would be an unbearable type of suffering. Of course, the joy of the gods cannot be compared to the supreme peace of enlightenment. Since they too remain in samsara, celestial beings inevitably must experience suffering. When the positive karma they have accumulated runs out, they die in terrible fear because they know a painful future awaits them, likely in one of the lower realms. We should remember the Buddha's teaching that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature. This inherent potential for enlightenment is the target we aim to realize through various methods of practice, such as meditation. But for most of us, this Buddha nature is veiled by the winds of karma rooted in self-grasping mind and afflictive emotions. As a result, we remain ignorant and suffer, wandering endlessly in the 6 realms of samsara, like a potter's wheel spinning round and round. The Buddha taught by ignorance, craving, and transformation. In the realms of humans, gods, and the 3 lower realms 8, 5 types of beings revolve ceaselessly. 9. Like a potter's wheel, we move continuously among the 6 realms according to our karmic fate. Like a bee buzzing around within a sealed room. 1. If our mind is filled with hatred, harming others, then at death, our consciousness will manifest in a form that leads to rebirth in hell. The characteristics of the hell realm burning heat, or icy cold, torment or misery, oppression and ferocity become our lived reality. 2. If we are miserly and selfish upon death, we may find ourselves reborn in the realm of hungry ghosts, where beings suffer poverty, torment, hunger, and thirst, typifying that existence. 3. If our mind and actions are steeped in ignorance and delusion, we will find ourselves reborn as an animal, enduring foolishness and mistreatment, forced to pull plows or carry heavy loads, or being slaughtered for meat. 4. If we harbor envy, we will be reborn in the Asura realm, a world of demigods who are aggressive and constantly at war, locked in endless conflicts and plots due to fear and jealousy. 5. If our thoughts and behavior are proud, After death, our consciousness may appear in the form of celestial beings in the God realm, where we waste time enjoying pleasures until we die and fall into lower realms. 6. If our mind and actions are full of desire and clinging, we will be reborn as humans. Although the human realm provides many opportunities to practice and develop spiritually, even here we can stray from the path and fall into the lower realms. We might, for instance, become caught in envy or anger, thus creating negative karma. The human realm itself is rife with difficulties and offers no guarantee that we will have the strength to practice. Consider the challenges we face from birth to death. First, we must endure the suffering of being born and going through childhood. If we are fortunate, we spend about 20 years in school. Then we build a family and spend most of our time earning a living. Finally, we reach old age with its attendant infirmities. Various illnesses cause worry, pain, and longing. We may no longer have money or possessions. Death lurks at the door, and our life comes to an end. Our human body returns to dust, and our name fades from memory. Only our consciousness moves on through the 6 realms unless we achieve liberation or are reborn in a pure land, where we will never regress in terms of spiritual progress and can attain complete liberation. Aside from these difficulties, humans also endure 4 main sufferings: suffering from receiving what we do not want, suffering from losing what we like, suffering from not obtaining what we desire, and suffering from encountering what we hate. The only way to escape these sufferings is by doing 3 things. 1. Recognize our own harmful qualities, negative emotions, and bad behavior. 2. Transform the negative into the positive. 3. Develop the positive until it becomes complete. Even ambition can be a good trait. The West especially values the can-do attitude, but we need to use ambition wisely. If you run a marathon and want to reach the finish line immediately, you cannot win the race without going through the full distance of more than 42 kilometers. Likewise, when aiming for the highest goal, the fruit of Buddhahood, we must begin with the first step, knowing where we stand now. We need to realize that our lives contain much negativity and suffering. Then we must urgently wish to break free from the prison we ourselves have created. We need to transform from bad to good by cultivating qualities of peace, compassion, and right view. Lastly, we must perfect ourselves by becoming free from the underlying mindset of fearing, suffering, and chasing happiness, dissolving the root cause of suffering. Buddhism offers a way to uproot suffering by gradually practicing until we reach complete enlightenment. Thus, Buddhism has a broad perspective on that does not swing to either the pessimistic or optimistic extreme. The Master Nagarjuna said, "For one who realizes emptiness, everything becomes possible." 10. The great potential of human life. Some people are gentle, cheerful, and wise by nature. Their mere presence can bring peace to those around them. All of us can awaken such qualities within our own minds, provided we set our intention and strive for it. Each of us has innate Buddha nature. Our true qualities are peace and wisdom. Negative emotions and harmful speech are afflictions, some sort of pollution, and do not represent our true nature. That is why Buddhism teaches that human life is extremely precious. We can use impermanence to develop our lives, and we can use the law of cause and effect to ensure a peaceful death and a joyful rebirth. We can all reach complete enlightenment, for this is the realization of our own true nature. We can attain peace and wisdom not only in this lifetime, but in future lifetimes, and not just for ourselves, but for countless other beings. If we cultivate a peaceful mind, hold right views, and strengthen these wholesome habits in our mind, that peaceful mind will transform our lives and our character. Adverse circumstances will have less impact, and the power of peace will prevail. But if we do not take advantage of our lives right now, we may fall into ignorance, fear, and suffering in the future. To achieve this goal, we must follow a spiritual path that leads to a peaceful mind, dissolves attachment, purifies our afflictions, and improves our speech and actions. This is the only way to transform our negativity into good karma, accumulate merit, and realize wisdom. Our path might include one or more or all of these practices. Meditating on the breath, observing it moment by moment to calm the mind and awaken insight. Cultivating thoughts and feelings of compassion for others and practicing compassion by selflessly serving their needs. Devotion to a sacred presence, which opens our mind infinitely and dissolves our afflictions. Maintaining awareness to perceive and transform all objects of consciousness into benefits. Contemplating the equal nature of subject and object, striving to see and feel that everything happening in life is unreal, like a dream conjured and reinforced by our mental tendencies. This last point is a particular aspect of Tibetan Buddhism used in dream yoga and other meditative practices. Training the mind to see life as a dream helps dissolve our attachment and desire for this life. Then, when death and the post-mortem experiences come, we will also recognize them as illusory, like dreams, and be able to deal with them more easily. During sleep, sometimes people realize that they are dreaming, and that whatever is happening is only a dream. There are methods to cultivate this awareness, known as lucid dreaming. We can learn to wake up within our dreams and recognize them as dreams, thereby dissolving any fear or threat and transforming it into something positive. Similarly, after we die, when we experience the intermediate Bardo state, if we recognize that everything occurring to us in that realm is an illusion, all the terrifying visions will lose their power and can even be transformed into beneficial experiences. Masters teach that if we practice dream yoga, we can recognize the Bardo states by seeing their illusory nature. Furthermore, it is said that if we can recognize that we are dreaming 7 times, then we will be able to recognize the Bardo state. Some people claim that it is easier to transform Bardo experiences than to transform dream experiences. According to the Master Tele, our thoughts are the most important factor when training to handle dreams and the Bardo. We should cultivate the habit of reminding ourselves that everything we do or see is a dream or a Bardo. By deeply contemplating this truth, we are sure to succeed in dealing with the Bardo after death. In order to succeed in our training for death and beyond, the Mahayana teachings instruct us to first seek a wise and trustworthy master. Then, we must learn the master's teachings. We should thoroughly examine what we have learned and through meditation realize their wisdom. We must open our hearts to all sentient beings, caring for them as if they were our mothers. We should treat all beings with impartiality, kindness, and joy. We should cultivate the 6 perfections: generosity, morality, patience, diligence, meditation, and the wisdom that realizes true nature. Jigme Lingpa made this aspiration. In this life, I vow to practice in a way that pleases the Guru, relying on the wisdom of study, reflection, and meditation, cultivating renunciation, the mind of awakening, and the 6 perfections. The Dzogchen, great perfection, teachings say we need to know what to do after death when we encounter luminosity and spontaneously present luminous forms appearing along with the true nature of reality. To know how to respond, we must engage in profound meditation right here in this life. We must first realize the true nature of our own mind, then maintain and reinforce that recognition through meditative practice. Once we realize our true nature, we will experience that everything appearing before us, whether in our consciousness, in life, or after deaths, the radiance and display of that nature. Thus, Longchen Rabjam wrote, "In this life, in the present moment, we must realize the wisdom of the true mind, the Dharmakaya, then sustain the natural meditative power in the luminosity so that all phenomena appear as the spontaneously present wisdom. We have a wonderful opportunity in this lifetime. If we follow the path and realize our true nature, we can attain Buddhahood. We also have a good chance to transfer our consciousness to a pure land if we devote ourselves to Buddhas such as the Buddha Amitabha, Buddha of Infinite Light, and his Western Pure Land. Through the practice of Phawa, the transference of consciousness, we can be reborn in a pure land directly, without going through the various stages of the death process. Another practitioner can also perform Phawa on our behalf, while we are still alive, on our deathbed, or in the Bardo. If we have not yet reached a high level of spiritual attainment, but have accumulated merit, we will still undergo experiences at the time of death. This is the topic of the next chapter.